How's it going out there, YouTube? My name is Jesse, and I am the curator for the Golden Age, and this is another...
Lost Heroes of the... No, I don't think so.
What do you mean you don't think so? This is the guy I'm reviewing.
This is the most ridiculous character you've ever done.
That is completely untrue. We have done much worse than this.
You can't even name one.
I can name several right off the top of my head, but I don't think we have time.
You're going to do all the ridiculous ones, aren't you?
God willing. Yeah, anyways, this is a really silly one that we're doing, and if it wasn't for the research, I would have totally missed this guy. He got one story out of Comedy Comics, and the only reason I'm reading Comedy Comics was to catch up on the final stories from the guys coming out of Daring Comics, which I still can't find a proper reason for why they switched over anyways. But this is kind of silly, and to be honest, I've actually missed him until recently because I just skipped right past all the other stories of the ones I wasn't reviewing, and I went through and I said, why is there Captain America? That's not Captain. That's a Captain America knockoff. What is this? And it's really short. It's really stupid. I think they intended it to go on farther, but he only got the one, and it's obscure and ridiculous enough to go over. Timely didn't do well. I don't know. In the Golden Age, Timely did have a number of one-and-done heroes. I've reviewed a few of them here already. And this one almost got missed by me. So let's go ahead and do Captain Dash on the Lost Heroes of the Golden Age. Captain Dash, real name probably Captain Dash, unrevealed, first appeared in Comedy Comics number 9 in 1942. Cannot find a creator, but the artist may have actually been Ben Thompson. Comedy Comics was a weird thing. Comedy Comics number 9 was a continuation of Daring Comics, which ended at number 8. And a lot of the people who were in Daring Comics would have their last appearance in Comedy Comics number 9, where it would mainly focus on comedy after that, hence the name. Interestingly enough, a character that came from Daring Comics, Captain Daring, did not follow over into Comedy Comics. His story actually ended on a cliffhanger, and we'll cover him sometime. There's not too much of a lead in. He exists in the future, is apparently immune to fear toxin, and he looks like a Captain America knockoff. So, I mean, that's all I have. I have no idea why Daring Comics became Comedy Comics, and why a lot of the characters met their final issue in this one. I mean, I might have to do a deep dive into figure that one out, because there was another Daring Comics that came out that did not follow those Daring Comics, and that Daring Comics had the Marvel heavy hitters at the time, Namor, Angel, and Human Torch, I believe, but that one only went for 4 issues. So let's go ahead and cover this character. It's not a very long story. I don't even know how you would find this character. I don't even know how I find this character. I was doing research for the last video and I stumbled upon this guy. Didn't even know he existed. So let's go ahead and cover Captain Dash. Captain Dash, in the Scourge of Fear. Speed with us on the wings of time to the 31st century. Science has raised the lifespan of the average human to 165 years. It's a half-hour rocket trip from London to New York, but when you got there, you'd never recognize it. Now a great city rears skyward, and a great nation enjoys the more abundant life. This is the era of Captain Dash. And, you can see how he looks like a Captain America knockoff. But this one wears short shorts and looks like he has a gun strapped to his side, which I don't think he ever uses. And obviously, it looks like he's hitting an Oriental person, because back then they were yellow, which is very racist. And over here, you see the splash page, Broadway and 42nd Street. Okay. 3 a.m. in the tower of the local airport. Strange fleet of black rocket ships sighted, Captain Dash. Looks like trouble. Order Flight 2 and 7 to stand by for action in the chart room. Why would you have a desk in the chart room? Okay. The strange fleet skims over the stratosphere, approaching New York. As we see the Black Fleet, I guess they're calling it the Black Fleet, we see all of these yellow people in here. Now for the test, if it works, Markmon, is that how we're putting it? Rule of the Pacific Isles will hold the Western Hemisphere in the palm of my hand. And the leading rocket ship. So we see Captain Dash's fleet and this fleet start to engage each other. And that's what you call aerodynamics in the future? Okay. Captain Dash's fleet and the Black Fleet. Wait till they get a whiff of spray. Better put my mask on. Fire at will! The air churns with dogfights as Dash's fleet spits its shells against the sinister spray. It may be gas. Put on our masks. Oh, poor Captain Dash's ship. The spray is cutting through the gas mask. Achoo! We see them put on their... His mask is different from theirs. Where is your air reserve? Okay. It says a strange transformation occurs. This guy, let me out. I don't want to die. Scared, stiff, this guy holds the Congressional Medal of Courage. The Congressional Medal of Courage? What in God's name is that? And how do you get it? Okay, so Captain Dash thinks that knocking him senseless is the only way to get him over his fear. I mean, okay. I mean, I guess I've seen it in a lot of movies, especially back then. You could smack the fear out of someone, but he knocks them out. And since he knocks them out, there's no one to pilot the ship. Let's see. He seizes control there. She's back on her course. Guess I can take this mask off. It's not doing me much good anyways. But then he sees everybody else getting scared. Home for me. Who wants to fight anyways? We're going off. Goodbye. So a whole bunch of the people just start jumping out of the ship. So they're not brave enough to fight, but they're brave enough to parachute out of the ship that's really high in the air while there are enemy ships flying about along with your own. Your courage is very inconsistent. I mean, there's a whole lot of people who probably wouldn't jump out of an airplane today, even with parachutes, and you guys are doing this strapped with fear. Let's see. Whatever this spray is, I must be immune to whatever it is. The whole demoralized American fleet is routed. Give us peace. We don't want to fight. See them run, the brave Americans. Haha, the scourge of fear works according to plan. And since this is the only ship left, they gang up on him and shoot his ship down. And then they start to infest all the soldiers on the ground. Their bravery is exceeded only by the speed in which they sprint. So he starts to parachute to the ground. I can't figure it out. My whole fleet turned tail aboard the Black Flag ship. There, within a week, the whole nation will be softened by grim fear. And then we see this page where, interesting drawings, where they talk about the fear. Let's go into this. The strange malady sweeps the nation like a plague. Peace, let us have peace. And so, fellow senators, I move we sign the pact with Marmon and become a vassal state to his Pacific Isles. Any kind of peace, even the peace of slavery. In the peace of slavery? Did you just say that word? Peace. Fear. That's all I see around me. Fear. Well, I mean, they want the war stopped. I mean, there's something to be said for that. Okay. A group of scientists working in a germ-free laboratory have escaped the contagion. They hold a conference. A germ-free laboratory. Wish I could find me one of those. We've worked day and night and nothing stops the disease. How about a serum? They say that they can only get a serum from blood that is not affected by the toxin. Hint, hint. So they get the Captain Dash and they take his blood. Now that you've got my blood, what will you do with it? Inject it into horses and develop What? That's what they did. They injected his blood in the horses. And then they're draining the horse's blood to get anti-fear tox. What? Would something like that even work? Could you put human blood into a horse with like antibodies and expect the antibodies to develop inside of the animal, and then I gotta see something like this is even possible. I actually found this, and can human antibodies be put into a horse to make more? And this is what I found. Horses can be used to produce antibodies for human use. However, the reaction of horses to antitoxin production may vary, and some may become poor producers of antibodies after a few years of immunizations. Okay, I guess there is a scientific basis for doing this. It's one of the weirdest things I've ever seen or even heard, and I can't believe I actually typed that into the Google to see if it was possible. But here we are. Apparently it can be done. Alright, so they bring in this guy to use as a guinea pig. Please don't stick me. It may hurt. Okay, so they bring in the guy and they inject him. There, it's all over. Well, you did hurt me. You did. Oh, come on. My son acted better when he got his vaccine shot. Anyways, a magical change takes place. Hey, what's this? A kid's game? I want to get out and fight. Boy, I wish Marmon came now. I'd have him on What? Don't ever say that again. Okay, so apparently after they inject him and he cries like a little baby, he springs into action and he's ready to fight. The end of the week, 0 hours. So it only took them a week to do this. Their resistance is gone. This will be a pushover attack. But Marmon gets a surprise. There they are. Give them the works. Come on, men. We're going to board the black flagship. And they fly over the flagship and they all leap out and crawl into the flagship. This is a stupid thing to do. There's no amount of bravery at that. That's just stupid. What if he suddenly just barrel rolled the ship? You guys all die. You're not even wearing parachutes when you jump onto a ship. Who said Americans couldn't fight? Here's a way of stamping out another germ. May I come in? Okay, let's read these last two panels at the very bottom. Their flagship captured, the enemy takes flight. Yeah, we surrender! The battle ends in an American victory. What a dope Marmon turned out to be. He doesn't know that even fear is curable. Don't ever say that again. Captain Dash will be back in the next issue. No, he won't. One and done. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope that you got as much joy out of this one as I did. I know we started Timely Month late. I might have one more. I might have time for one more, and then we'll get started with some DC ones. And I've got some good ones to review this month. So, until next time, I'll be seeing you.